Captain Hogthrob, the navigational computer just gave us a very startling news.
Oh, what's that?
See that white glow approaching in the distance?
Yeah.
That glow is the end of the universe. And furthermore, according to the computer, when we reach the end of the universe, we will be given a meaning and purpose of life.
We will be given the meaning and purpose of life?
I just love presents.
When do we get there?
In exactly 1 minute from now. Oh, it's okay. It's just the dinner gong.
Oh, God. That means I'm going to miss the meaning and purpose of life.
But then, can't you just skip dinner?
What? Why, they're having swill stroganoff.
The meaning and purpose of life.
Swill stroganoff. Wait for me! You wait for the meaning and purpose of life.
And now a Muppet News Flash, probably the greatest news story in history. The meaning and purpose of life has just been announced. The full text of the announcement is as follows. Oh, that's the wrong one. Just a second. I had it here a minute ago. Where is it? Meaning and purpose of... How can I keep track of things when you're always straightening up my desk?
So here we are at the end of the universe.
Is there any more coffee?
Too bad we all missed the meaning and purpose of life.
Not all of us missed it.
Oh, tell us,
what is it?
Please.
I know something you don't know.
Hi everyone, well it's nearly the 21st of the 12th, 2012. Well, technically it's tomorrow, so I'm wanting to explore this issue with 3 of my friends that I've had a Skype chat with. Basically I'm looking at where they've come from, where they're going, and what they believe the 21st is all about. So we're exploring the Mayan calendar, twin flames, soulmates, and just our hopes and dreams for the future. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you.
My name is Tanishka, and I've spent the last 17 years empowering both men and women by introducing them to the different facets that make up the full spectrum of the feminine and the masculine psyche. To that end, I've written a couple of books. One's called The Inner Goddess Makeover, which is a 7-step tantric workbook for women. And the most recent title is called Sacred Union, Awakening to the Consciousness of Eden. So I'm very, very passionate about 2012, but even more passionate about 2013.
Thank you so much for joining us and talking about the 21st of the 12th, 2012. Just really interested to hear what your point of view is and where you're taking this whole development with. Yeah.
Sure. Well, basically, this is when our planet, Mother Earth, moves into what's called the photon belt. Now, the first that I heard about the photon belt was from the Mayan elder Barbara Hanclau in her book about 17 years ago called The Pleiadian Agenda. And Greg Braden, who's a scientist, has put out a lot of info about it as well.
Yep.
But I came across some information which really lit me up this week, and that is the realization that the photon belt is literally, it's sometimes called the rings of Alcyon, and Alcyon is the central sun, so it's the largest sun, and there are 7 suns that spiral around it, okay, and our sun is the 7th sun that is spiraling around Alcyon.
Okay.
Alcyon is the center of the Pleiades being the constellation of the 7 sisters. Now, this is where it gets interesting. It's like ye old musical, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. We have, you know, this amazing awakening of the feminine ever since, you know, women's lib in the 1960s when these new energies came in. And that's because our solar system re-entered into the photon belt. Photons are literally particles of light. So it's almost impossible not to become enlightened in these new energies that we're moving into.
Okay.
So it's like we're coming out.
How does that affect us, though? Like the outer space affecting the inner space, I guess.
Absolutely. Everything. We live in a holographic universe. It's like walking around in a hall of mirrors. Everything mirrors everything else. So what is true in the macrocosm absolutely is true in the microcosm. Yep. But you can reverse that. What we do as a single entity in the microcosm has a ripple effect, like the butterfly effect, on the big picture, on the macrocosm. So what we're coming up to on the it's actually the 22nd, because it's a 3-day window, a 3-day vortex, just like we have with a full moon. This solstice is from the 21st to the 23rd of December, is like a 3-day window, like a stargate, a big spiral. And, you know, energy moves, that's what it does. So we either spiral up, or we spiral down.
Hopefully up.
You would hope, you know, otherwise it's like your life going down the toilet, entropy. So there's a lot of talk about ascension. Ascension is simply growth. It's life. It doesn't mean that you're, you know, beam me up, Scotty, I'm out of here. It just means that you embrace the idea of evolution. So we have this opportunity to go through quite a quantum leap in our evolution together as a species. And the reason is our planet is moving into the photon belt full time for 2,000 years. This is why it's called the age of light, because a photon is a particle of light. It's literally the force, you know. So there's also this kind of urge towards, you know, soulmate union and people wanting a much deeper connection in terms of wanting more contact with their community, wanting deep connection with themselves, not being so disparate, isolated, separate, disconnected, which is what our culture has become. And so as a result, we are soul sick, you know, because we're so disconnected from our soul, the truth.
It's like the materialistic, kind of corporate money kind of world, and kind of shifting more into the love of community. Is that kind of the way that it's kind of moving?
Yeah, it is, definitely. You know, we're literally re-entering Eden. And Eden does not mean we all walk around with our gear off, you know. Eden is about being naked emotionally, naked mentally. It's about being transparent. So you haven't got that vizier, you haven't got that mask that's trying to put one over each other, which has been the old paradigm of duality, you know. Whereas this new energy is one of union. It's about working together to spiral upward, to create a new world, to create a better, more evolved civilization.
So do you think everyone will be going through this shift, or do you think some will and some won't, or, you know, is it just for the enlightened?
Look, I think that's quite an elitist view. I personally feel if you're on the mothership, you're going through. Do you know?
So you're going to deal with it no matter what.
Because, you know, if a lot of people have left the planet, you know, we've had huge epidemics of cancer, AIDS, youth suicide, which doesn't get much press, you know. And this is because as we approached these intensifying light energies, it brings up everything that is not in the light. It brings up the underbelly, the shadow of our culture. So, you know, this has been a very testing time, the last 12 years, since 2000 in particular. So, you know, if people were going to jump off the ship, they've done it already. If they're here, then they're able to transmute the energies, is my feel.
Okay, so for you personally, how are you feeling at this time? Like, what kind of changes are you going through, and what are you hoping to achieve past the 21st?
Okay. Well, whilst I channel stuff, it doesn't mean that I'm immune from my own warts in terms of my personal challenges.
Yep.
The day before the 12-12-12 gateway opened was a very challenging day for me, where I realised how if I wanted to move fully into the light, I needed to forgive, and how that was really holding me back. So, that was a big day.
Yeah.
So, but I've had other waves of grief come up, which is because we're ending our current lessons. You know, we've been going around like Groundhog Day on the Wheel of Fate.
Yeah.
Coming back lifetime after lifetime with meeting up with the same people, re-wounding each other. And now it's kind of like end of term exams, you know, it's like we're all getting it, shifting it, resolving it, and that means ultimately being grateful for what we've learned from our wounding, and then from that place of gratitude being able to let go and forgive, and that then opens up a whole new paradigm.
So easy, so effortless. So tasty. I can't believe.
People, you know, believe that nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to change. What do you think about that?
Okay. Well, look, I ultimately, like everybody else, I cannot say 100% for certain what is going to happen. Do I think there's going to be a pole shift? There is a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, but in terms of do I think the skeptics, or it's not even the skeptics, because it's healthy to be skeptical, to have an open mind that filters information against one's intuition, but the cynics.
Yeah.
Look, I must admit, I don't even invest much energy in people that are that shut down, that closed to possibility.
Yeah.
I really govern myself by my own inner knowing, my own intuition, and that's a muscle that I've honed for years. So, it may well be a non-event. I honestly do not feel we're going to have catastrophic earth changes.
Yeah.
I feel that it's going to be a shift within, and the main elder Akate, who spoke about the 8-minute window at the absolute zenith of that 3 days, is, if you will, an opportunity for the whole world to experience enlightenment, which is just clarity, being able to see what it is that they've been trying to learn all these lifetimes and realise the error of their ways, and that resonates with me.
Okay, and so with that 8 minutes, when does that start, do you know, and stop?
That's midday Mexican time.
Yeah, midday Mexican time. So I wonder what that's Australian. Probably 4 o'clock in the morning.
Melbourne, that's 5 a.m. on the 23rd.
5 a.m. on the 23rd. Okay, so it'd be interesting just to take note of that date and see what was happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've suggested to people, look, sure, you can sleep through it, you'll have interesting dreams, but for myself, I'll be at Uluru, so, it's the most temperate time to be awake, I dare say, at that time of year in Uluru. But
especially there.
A time to channel your insights, to write down all of the inspired revelations, thoughts that you receive, so that then 2013 is about implementing the shift. So the reason that I'm personally most excited about this shift is that because our Earth is moving into the photon belt, she's literally joining the sun. Now, if we don't think about these planets as just inanimate objects, but actually think of them in a greater mythology as living entities, because everything has a consciousness, whether we can perceive it or not. So it then brings an understanding to global warming, for instance, because the Earth Mother, her heartbeat has been quickening, just like she's getting ready to join her lover.
Wow. In
that anticipation. Do you know? It's gone from 7.8 hertz, which is, beats in 1980, up to 12. And the prophecies say the shift will happen when it hits
13.
13. Again, there's that number.
Yeah, 13
So,
again.
you know, we've had her electromagnetic field thinning, which is like her defenses, her aura. Yeah? So a lot of us have become softer, more
Is she
vulnerable.
surrendering? Is that what she's doing?
Absolutely. So I think we're in for a very dishy time with the Venus transit as well to prepare us for this.
Yep.
You know, this is like stepping into a big love bubble. A lot of twin flames are going to come together. You know, I think we'll look back on the first part of our lives before the shift and just go, wow, so glad that's over.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I feel like I've become much more... I felt a lot more vulnerability come up and being okay about that vulnerability and being quite sweet and kind of turning into a puddle every now and then, which I'm not quite used to, quite fiery usually. But yeah, it's kind of feeling that more and that sensitive sweet side and not seeing it as not strong either or not useful, you know?
There's a beautiful Native American teaching that says gentleness is the greatest strength.
And that's actually my mantra at the moment. Gentleness is all I repeat to myself all the time.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And the other thing is Chiron, you know, the wounded healer, Chiron, when he is truly empowered, which is the masculine aspect that governs the throat, it means that we've made our peace with our wound and we can be openly vulnerable in public and not feel ashamed.
Yeah.
And Chiron, the planetoid, was discovered in 1977, the year Star Wars came out, offering a new mythology.
Wow.
Yeah, the Tantrika, the light bearer, other than what had been before, the Dark Father, which is what Darth Vader means, you know, the man who was more machine than man. So, you know, we're going to see Tantra really stepping it up, more people looking at their wand of light rather than, you know, using the masculine as a gun, as a knife, as a destructive force. So you'll see a lot of the young men that have been born in the last few generations, they're a lot softer because they've got that Chiron energy.
Yeah, they are. And they're much slower as well. They're not as aggressive. They're kind of quite feminine too, I find.
But still masculine,
Twin flames. I don't think a huge amount of people know what twin flames are. So if you could explain that, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. Okay. When we split off from the sun, and not because we were being punished or we were fallen angels or any of those stories, but because we chose to experience ourselves as separate, and in that we are part of the one soul with another being who is our divine complement, okay? But this other being, we have not been able to be with this other being until we had found wholeness within. So until now, we were like people saying, oh, where's my other half? Literally, because we were very polarized in our gender. According to what physical gender you were, you went looking for the other gender. Okay. And I know that's speaking in a heterosexual sense, but even in homoerotic unions, one embodies the feminine polarity, one embodies the masculine polarity. So what is happening is we are each now awakening the 7 facets of the sacred feminine, the 7 facets of the sacred masculine, and in doing that, we're activating those inner meridians, Ida and Pingala, the twin serpents. And in doing that, we become an 11 master being. It's like those serpents stand tall, stand erect. And this is what the Christ and the Magdalene were. They were master beings, just as Buddha was, So when we have awakened fully to our potential, then the twin flames cannot stay away. In particular, we're sort of expanding up to having 12 major energy centers or chakras. An 11 master being has 12 chakra in their central nervous chords. So this one here, this is like an amazing turquoise, the higher heart. And when that is activated, which is compassion for self, forgiveness of self, which then extends as compassion for other and the all, and forgiveness of other and the all. When we've activated that blue flame, it's like they can't stay away. It's like magnets. Because twin flames have important work to do.
Okay, right. So that's why how they're different compared to soulmates?
Yes. Soulmates are people that you have incarnated with many, many times. There's a deep soul connection, and your job is to challenge each other to grow. Yeah. So, a lot of people have had very intense karmic soulmate relationships in the lead up, particularly to 1111, because their job was to help us activate the twin flame within. Yep. So a lot of people mistook this for the twin flame. It was like, it feels so intense. It must be my twin flame. But no, it was just drama. Yeah. And you had
sorting out other lives.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
How are you celebrating the 21st?
Well, I am going on a bus in convoy with a lot of crystals to the Red Centre in the centre of Australia to Uluru. So we'll be setting up crystal grids because Uluru is, as you know, the one of the main energy centres on the planet. Wow. And so we'll be attuning to those all over the world that are working with the energy grids. Yep. And really aligning with the light of Alcyon, the great central sun, and the light of our sun, and Mother Earth, and just being midwives, if you will, for everybody, including ourselves.
Yeah, beautiful.
Have a wonderful shift.
I will. Awesome. Thank you very much, and have a great trip.
Pleasure. Thanks. Have a wonderful trip wherever you go.
Yeah, exactly. See you, honey. Bye.